Welcome to Finding Holiness, where we delve into timeless Torah wisdom, revealing the sacred in everyday moments. Join us on a journey to elevate your spirituality and discover holiness in every aspect of life. I'm your host, Rabbi David Kadosh, and together, let's embark on a path of spiritual exploration. I hope you enjoy this next episode. Okay, continuing briefly with the laws of Lashon Hara. We're still talking about Apei Tlata, the Apei Tlata license, but there's three. This is the third qualification where one would not be allowed to repeat information. Nireh li de'ima sipur be'apei tlata haya bifnei anashim yireh Elohim. If the derogatory account, if the Lashon Hara that was said in front of three people took place in front of three people who were God-fearing, so they were, very, very frum Jews, who are usually very careful to not repeat Lashon Hara or not listen to Lashon Hara. So now, this report, you can't use the three-person qualification license because these people are not going to go repeat it because they are religious people. And therefore, it's not this report is not liable to become known to the public as a result. Ve'im ken, therefore, doesn't apply. Asur minat Torah lesaper achar kach davar ze le'acher. It would be forbidden from the Torah to repeat this matter to someone else. Va'afilu im rak echad me'ashelosha haya ish yireh Elohim. Even only one of the three was God-fearing. Shenishad me'isul Lashon Hara, who is careful with Lashon Hara. Gam ken dina hachi. The law is the same. The Apei Tlata license would not apply. The other two listeners can't repeat it. The two leika shlosha mefarsemim, because this is no longer a case of Apei Tlata with three listeners publicizing information, because one of them is not going to do it. So you only have two listeners that might do it, and that is not allowed. Ve'efshar dehu adin im echad me'ashelosha haya me'akerovav o ohavav shel mi shene'emar alav agnut. It's possible that the same restriction of this license applies if one of the people who was listening, one of the three peoples, is a relative or a friend of the person, of the subject that is being disparaged. Gam ken shayach haitama. The same rationale applies. Dehu bevadai lo yelech v'yigaleh la'olam agnut shekrovo ve'ohavo. Shimon's friend, again, Shimon was disparaged. Shimon's friend is not going to go around disparaging Shimon. It's his friend, somebody that he loves. So even though he was part of the three, or even though there were three people there, given that one of the people there was a really close friend of Shimon, he's not going to go repeat it. Imken tu leika tlata, you no longer have a case of Apei Tlata, and therefore you wouldn't be allowed to publicize the report. The fourth qualification, od nireli, the davka be'ota ha'ir sheshama be'apei tlata mutar legalot. You would only be allowed to disclose the Lashon Hara within the very city that you heard it being said in front of three listeners. Why? Mishum de chavra, because we said your friend has a friend and things spread around the city. Aval lo be'ir acheret, the Lashon Hara cannot be repeated in a different city because we don't make this assumption that information will spread across city limits. Might say differently today with social media and emails and text messages. So I don't know how much this applies, but he does say that in his time at least, it wouldn't apply in a different city. And he says even though there is continuous travel between the cities, still one would not be allowed to do so. So again, the note here talks about it. Interestingly, I'll read you the note. Nowadays, information is regularly shared via telephone, email, and the like. Consequently, the likelihood of information being heard in the original city is no greater than it being heard in a different city, making this halachic distinction no longer applicable. Okay, so as I figured, some authorities have thus ruled that in present times, the criteria determining whether word will spread is determined by the social group of the original three listeners and not by their physical location. The Apei Tlata license applies to anyone within a given social circle, but not to people outside of it. Nevertheless, it is difficult to pinpoint which people are halachically deemed connected to one another, particularly in this age of social media, so that from a practical standpoint, it's still quite difficult to apply this license. Let's do one more, and then we'll continue with our Tehillim that we recite every day. Ve'im ha'omer hizhir shelo legaloto. If Reuven was the guy who spoke Lashon Hara, if Reuven cautioned the audience, don't divulge the information, lo legalot. Afilu amar bifnei rabim, even if he said it in front of 100 people, the apet lata license does not apply. Yes, bo mishum lashon hara lemi sheyegale achar kach afilu b'mikreh, and therefore if someone ignores the Reuven and decides that he's going to repeat this what he said, even incidentally, he would be transgressing lashon hara. Va'afilu im hu ro'eh, even if Levi sees she'echad me'ashomim o shnayim lo shamnu et ha'azara azo v'gilul acherim. Levi's guy number 3. He sees two guys, the other two guys going around and spreading it, even though Reuven told him not to spread it. And he's watching this. Afapichen hashlishi hazeh. This third guy, eno legalot et hadavar lacherim. He cannot divulge information, afilu b'mikreh, even incidentally. And this is the 5th qualification with regards to apet lata. It wouldn't apply if Reuven specifically says not to spread the information. B'ezrat Hashem will continue tomorrow.